Hi there, welcome back to part 2 of the video series on caring for water. So this is the application stage where we apply the universal laws that we briefly discussed in part 1, and we talk about how we can use the Holy Trinity of love in order to practice more love and care for the water in our lives. Now the first thing that we can all do, which is the first element of the Holy Trinity of love in my world anyway, it's thinking love, right? And so think about blessing your water, literally your own water, for your own benefit. The way to do that is using on the power of your thought and intentional thoughts, of putting certain intention. Some things that one can do to bless water is to literally put your hand over it and imagine beautiful golden light or white light going from your hand into the water, sort of blessing your water. You can think of anything else you want, anything positive. So, first of all, you can thank the water, thank you for being here, thank you for nourishing my body, thank you giving for the hydration that I require and that my body needs. And thank you in advance for doing that for me, right? So the benefits of drinking water, whatever it is that is for my highest good, for the highest good of my physical body, thank you for giving me that to me. Thank you for transferring the beautiful energy into my body and literally giving me the health, the health, prosperity, just nutrition, any kind of minerals and things like that my body requires and every cell of my body needs. So, and just imagining that line, imagining those words. Obviously, I just spoke them out loud, and you can use that technique as well for speaking love, or you can just think it in your mind every time you do that. Then you have a drink. Here we go. The other thing that we can do in terms of when we're thinking love and showing love towards water is actually part of the cleansing thing. And I'm just drawn to show you and read you a little bit from this intuition deck card that I've got on the subject of water, which is this beautiful card. And there's like a female inside the water with a variety of sea creatures in it. But if we read the message in the guidebook from the intuition book, it's all about dipping in and cleansing, right? So water is essential for the body, mind, and spirit. The water element helps us to get in touch with our emotions, allowing them to move within us and flow to the surface. It gently washes away our current worries and stress, but also allows old emotions to flow out, leaving us feeling deeply cleansed and purified. Water teaches us to go with the flow, to be in constant gentle movement, go easy and flow. Water offers us clarity and calm, a way to discover mysteries that lie within us in a gentle and nurturing way. Now that's gorgeous. The reason I wanted to read that out is because there's a couple of things you can do thinking about water and sending it love during your shower time or your bath time, right? Have you ever noticed how if you're having a shower, you might get all this flow of creativity all of a sudden? Sometimes it feels like you're solving like this problem that you were thinking about a lot. All of a sudden the most genius idea comes to you whilst you're having a shower. Especially like I've noticed in my life anyway, especially when I'm sort of washing my hair and I got water literally on my head, on my neck. You get all these like visuals or imaginative solutions, creative solutions. I don't know, but I think there's power in the water, and I've definitely noticed that, observed that in my life, right? Comment down below if you've noticed, it's like a shower emoji or something like that, if you've noticed that as well, that you get creativity in the shower. So something you can do, right, is to thank the water, for cleansing your body, your physical body, but also your spiritual body, and for cleansing it, for flowing, for resulting in the flow of negative emotions and causing a beautiful inflow of gorgeous, beautiful energy into your life, into your body, into your spirit body as well, allowing that flow to happen, that transformation, and ultimately for the creativity. Thank it in advance or thank it after if you've got a genius idea pop into your head during your shower time. Just appreciate the water for in the environment you're in your shower for creating that opportunity for you to come up with amazing solutions, creative solutions to whatever it is that you're pondering about. In your bath, if you enjoy to have baths, I've noticed in my life anyways that a bath is usually a tool for me to relax, to unwind, and like similarly cleansing your body and your spirit. So all the similar things I've discussed when having a shower, you can also think and show appreciation to the water that you're in the bath for relaxing your body, right? For releasing the tension in the various parts of your body, for healing. If there's any elements of your body that are aching, having like physical impact, you have, I don't know, sore feet as an example because you walked a lot or you were running, or your muscles are aching after a huge, I don't know, workout at the gym or something like that. Imagine the flow of the water. Well, the water will be touching your body, right? But imagine that flow through you, right? And giving you that healing energy. Thank the water for taking away the ailments or, the sore parts of your body, for healing them through. It's very powerful. And the other thing about thinking love towards water is on the subject of that kind of gratitude and showing soulful appreciation for the water in your life. Meditate on the subject of water by sending it love. Think of whatever images and symbols and visuals come into your mind of water. You might be literally looking at it at the relevant time, or you're imagining it. You might be standing in front of a beautiful ocean or river or lake, whatever that body of water might be. Just thank it for being there, for containing all the marine life. It might enable your family to be fed, right? So many people out there who fish and eat fish, to survive, in order to make sure that they can get the energy that they require from their meals, and that's the fish or other seafood. Show thanks for the food, for the seafood in your life, for the fact that you're enjoying something lovely. And guess what? The element of water has actually facilitated that life. And during challenging times, and I appreciate this might be a sore subject for some of you, but sometimes we get too much rain, as an example, or tsunamis happen. Yes, they do. We've got flooding, lots and lots of flooding around the world at the moment, which is too much water, right? But even during those challenging times and difficult times, I know despite how difficult it might be, we actually have to show appreciation for water being in our lives, because there are so many uses to it in each of our lives, and ultimately we depend on it literally for our livelihood. We need it. We need it as a species. We need water. So despite, I think about all the areas that are going through intense heat at the moment, right? The lack of water, the scarcity of it. Well, they would wish for some more water in their life, right? So despite the challenging situation or circumstances you might find yourself in, it's still finding, have that deep knowledge and that deep wisdom to know that ultimately you still need to show gratitude and appreciation for water in your life. Now I'm going to pause right there, and we're just going to turn quickly into this next part, which is all about speaking love and doing love. So just bear with me for a moment. I'll see you shortly. So we're in part 2, and we are stepping into the next element of our Holy Trinity of love, which is all about speaking love, right? What can we do, and how we can make sure that we verbally give thanks and gratitude and show care for our water? Well, you have just seen a demonstration of me speaking love towards water when I held, the beautiful glass of water, right? I've also got a cup of tea here. So anything that you can think of in terms of showing your care and love and appreciation, you can also speak it, literally direct it. And there's power in that, because literally in between my intention for the relevant words in my mind through to the vocals, the reason that you can hear sound is because there's a bunch of particles and atoms in between that carry the sound, right? And guess what? The water can sense it and can feel it, because there's particles going up from me into the water, literally as I'm speaking. And the fact that you can hear this through, the sound system as well is because there's a bunch of atoms in between us that carry the sound. Alright, I digress. Speaking more love, right. Educating others and raising awareness about the water. So I don't know, but I've mentioned a couple of statistics in part 1, some good ones and some not so good ones in terms of the water. And, one of them is that by 2050 it is projected that half of the world's population will be living in areas where there is water scarcity. That was quite a shocking find for me. And there's a lot more wonderful and not so wonderful, more grim statistics in relation to water. So one thing you can do is speak about water to others, right? Raise awareness about it. Raise awareness of anything that you may actually hear in this video series, whatever resonates with you. Have a conversation with your loved ones, family, friends. You might be a teacher, so teach your kids, students about the power of water, its uses, and how we can show more care for water in our lives. And you might be willing to actually do something else, which is share a cuppa with your loved ones, right? So I've got a cup of tea here, I'm sharing this conversation with you and discussing it with you. You might be willing to have another drink, alcoholic drinks might be on the cards, Friday night drinks, you do you, whatever works for you, and just talk about, show some praise during those moments. A lovely conversation, a lovely meet up with your loved ones, family and friends, colleagues, whatever it might be. There will be drinks around, coffees, teas, water, juice, alcoholic beverages. There's a bunch of things, that will enable you to and facilitate conversation. See if you can bring the water or reference to a drink into your conversation, even if it's just for a little bit, in order to raise some awareness about it and show some gratitude towards the relevant drink, that perhaps brought you all together, united all of you in your community, or the group of friends, whatever it might be, together. Alright, so, let's talk about doing love, right? How can you do love towards water? So the first thing, being resourceful, right? So we need to be a little bit more mindful, I think, about water conservation. If we want to do anything to try and manage that projection about 2050, about the half of the world population will be in water scarcity, right? So the best thing one can do is to actually be mindful of their actions. What do you do on a daily basis with water? So stop wasting your water. Excuse me. One way is obviously when you're brushing your teeth, make sure the tap is off, right? No need for the water to run through into the drains if you're not actually utilizing the water. Just be resourceful, right? Only boil, for instance, the amount of water in a kettle that you actually need, okay? If you only need 1 cup of water, you do not need to boil the whole, you don't need to fill your water in the kettle up to the top, up to the maximum line. You simply don't need that. You're not going to be using that hot water, right? Be mindful of how much you use water, for instance, for your farming or your plants. You might overdo it, and sometimes overdoing with the water for your plants is not good for the plants either, so be mindful of that. Or your animals, whoever you're giving more water to, if there's wastage at the end of the day, your pets probably don't need that much water, so try to reduce or limit the amount of water you give them. Now, one way is also during your showers and bath, but more specifically about shower. Got this lovely little tool which literally says water care on it, which is like a little hourglass. I've got a big hourglass and I've got a little hourglass, yes I do, in my shower, which is a 4-minute timer, literally. So it's got this thingy, my bob in it. You put it in your shower and you literally twist it around when you get in, and it's a 4-minute shower. And it's a great indicator, just like here, you can literally visually see, how much time has passed. This might be a great tool. You may want to seek and acquire one. Next time you do a Google search or you wish to just do some shopping, have a look for one of these tiny little timers see if you can add them into your shower. That will give you an indication, a really good visual indication as to the time, and so that your showers are kept to the lower end of the spectrum, and you actually thereby will conserve water during your shower. You'll be a little bit smarter about your showers. Now, what else can you do? Now, I like this one, which is all about, see if you can do some cleanup activities. You know, in order to avoid or minimize the amount of water pollution there is, you might be willing to volunteer for some cleanup activities or projects around your local community. You know, investing a little bit of your time and effort into cleaning up the plastics or the rubbish out from your local river or ocean or whatever it might be. Fantastic, right? I think it's a great activity, and if you've got kids, it might be a lovely activity to get your kids involved as well, to start teaching them and educating them about, you know, showing love towards water. There might be other volunteering projects, you know, water conservation projects all around your local communities. There's a bunch of things that schools or tertiary institutions might be doing around your area. It might be worthwhile to actually Google a couple of things and see what's happening in your local community. Now, donating to water-related charities, you know, if you are in that position of where you're fortunate enough to be able to donate, next time you're making a donation or willing to do that, have a look at what charities out there are doing fantastic projects and work and putting their effort and investing their effort into showing love and care for water. And there can be a myriad ways that people do that out there, lots of charities. It's just a matter of you taking the step of Googling one or another, and obviously then, you know, following on through with the donation process. Now, in terms of domestic consumption and use, you know, we clean a lot with using water. You know, you clean your home, tidy your home, you clean your dishes, and be mindful of two things, right? First of all, what goes down your drain. Make sure, you know, things like medications don't go down your drain, or hazardous chemicals, or anything else that could be damaging that simply shouldn't be going down the drain. Likewise, apart from the shower and the bath, you know, we use toilets, we flush, you know, use to flush, and water comes through down the pipes to take away your waste, right? Be mindful of what you throw down the toilet as well, you know. Be mindful, just be aware of what you do, because ultimately it ends up in the big bodies of water, right, one way or another. And you could actually be adding to the problem of the water pollution, resulting in waterborne diseases and whatnot. And you might not even be doing that consciously, right? But if you become aware of it, and hopefully this video series will inspire you to become a little bit more aware of it, then you can be part of the solution, right? And now, so something else you may wish to be doing, especially if you are heavily involved in gardening or agriculture, and that's all about completing your activities and tasks, you know, watering your plants and giving water to your animals in a more sustainable manner, right? And which is more attuned to your environment, to the beautiful planet Earth that we are all fortunate to be a part of and living. And just think about sustainable ways of doing things. Is there a more water conservative way of doing something? You may have not thought about it. Well, have a think of all the activities that you undertake on like a regular basis, and what's the most water conservative way of doing it, going about that. Now, if you've got some tips and tricks already up your way, please share that with us by commenting down below, right? Please educate the public. Share some web links or information from, you know, reliable sources as to what one can do in order to be able to actually care for water in a better way, to become more sustainable, to reduce the problem of water scarcity, and to actually be part of the solution, right? Now, we're running out of time here for this video series. I really don't want to drag this out for as long as we can. I don't want to do that. Appreciate everyone's time is very important. But the last thing I do want to mention is advocacy effort, right? So that's an action that you can do if you want to become part of the solution and to actually demonstrate some leadership and in the solution of showing more care and love for water, reducing the water scarcity issues around the planet for humanity. So advocacy efforts, sign up, as I said below, before. Google some ideas relating to water conservation efforts, any kind of projects in your local community. Have a look at charities on a national or international level. What is it that one can do, and sign up to any kind of projects advocating for, showing more love to water. If there's nothing around and you have some brilliant ideas, start them, you might be the next best, you might have the next best idea as to what one can do in order to be part of the solution. So don't be afraid to actually kick something off if you've got some brilliant ideas as to how you can think love, speak love, or do love towards water in our lives. And something else that I just was thinking about was for those of you who have kids, children, teenagers, young adults, going through like a school, and there might be an opportunity to advocate for water or include water as part of a project, be that, for instance, like a science class. There might be an opportunity to advocate for water and talk about water statistics or the uses of water in our life, what water scarcity issues are all around the world, or regional, local issues wherever you might be. There might be an opportunity to consider water conservation methods, right? What can one person do in order to actually educate others and what they do, like on a day-to-day practice, and inspire others to do that as well? Because if you recall, we talked about the ripple effect, right, as one of the universal laws in part 1. So the ripple effect is the fact that one person can make a meaningful change for others, a significant change for others, right? So the more people actually rise up and raise awareness about water, and one individual may wish to share their brilliant idea about showing love for water, well, there's a ripple effect, right, that can actually go wide and spread and in a swift manner and actually encourage others to follow suit, to adopt similar mechanisms. And small actions do result in significant change, right? So whatever has been discussed, we've discussed some of the practical tips here today about showing love, thinking love, speaking love towards water. Whatever resonated, you don't have to do them all, right? Even one small action can actually result to significant change, even if it's just like this example, if you're inspired to get one of these guys, from your local shops, like a little timer that you might want to add with a little, waterproof sticky thing, I don't know what they call them, in your shower, and that's what you're inspired to do, go for it, Whatever it is, small actions result in cumulative change, great change over time, and that's a given. I think just based on some of the observations that I've had, and I do think it's a bit of a universal law. So with that in mind, I think I want to wrap up part 2 at this point in time. Comment down below, please do, if you've got any other genius, amazing ideas, practical tips as to how people can show more love towards water, right? Whether it's through thinking, speaking, or doing love. Appreciate all the comments, even just little water emojis down below, just to show your love towards water. So with that, let's jump into part 3. Click on the link down below for part 3, and we'll get into the messages from our angels, spirits, and other beautiful ancestors when it comes to water. See you shortly.